All right, welcome. Welcome. God is good.
All the time.
All the time.
God is good.
Every time. Tonight we go through part 2 of our study that we're currently doing. In John 1, verses 1 through to 5. So let us read together the verses that we'll unpack over the next few weeks. So, Ioane Mumua, so for Mumua i te tima, I ask our Samoan Bible readers first. So we can read, so Ioane Mumua, so for Mumua i te tima, and then I'll ask our English Bible readers in John chapter 1, verses 1 through to 5. So our Samoan Bible readers, yeah?
Saya matanga le loko, saya atua le loko, ole atua fo'i le loko, o ia lava saya atua le hamtana, na ia whaia mea umalava, ele ai fo'i se mea tasi na whaia ele whaia ega. Saya te ia le ola, ole ona fo'i ole maama lama leo tanata, o ula mai fo'i le maana lama e pouli.
Amen. Now, English Bible readers, yeah.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it.
So before we unpack today's verse of John 1 verses 2, let's recap on what we went through the last time. So in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1 verses 1. In the beginning, ile amatanga. So we learned that John used a similar phrase in 1 John chapter 1 verse 1. From the beginning, describing the beginning of Jesus' ministry. But here the phrase used is parallel to Genesis 1 verses 1. In the beginning. Describing the time before creation. Was, or sa. Indicating a pre-existence or before time. The Word. This phrase emphasizes the power, glory, and identity of God. God created everything through the use of his words, as described in the history of creation in Genesis. Genesis 1 verses 3. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. So the Word equals God. And the Word was with God. Here we see a reference of the second person of the triune God, present with God before creation. The Word, second person of the Trinity. And the Word was God. We learned about the hypostatic union, equaling fully God, fully man. And we see references in John 20, verses 30, where Jesus says, I and my Father are one. And in John 1, verse 14, where God became flesh and dwelt among us. So that was a quick recap of what we went through. This is John 1, verses 1, which brings us to today's verse. So we turn our Bibles to John 1, verses 2. John 1, verses 2. Nice, short one today. So, yeah. Our English Bible readers, we'll just quickly read John 1, verse 1. John 1, verse 2. Yeah.
He was in the beginning with God.
Right. Our Samoan Bible readers. Yeah.
Oia lava sai le atua I le amatanga.
Alright, now let us unpack this with God's guidance. Right. He. Who in this passage is John referring to as he? If we turn our Bibles to Isaiah 48, verses 12. Isaiah 48, verses 12. We read God referring to himself as he was the first and the last. So I ask our English Bible readers, Isaiah 48, verse 12. Isaiah 48, verse 12. And then I ask our Samoan Bible readers after. Our English Bible readers, Iya.
Listen to me, O Jacob,
and
Israel, my God.
I am he.
I am the first, I am also the last.
Our Samoan Bible readers, Isaiah, Pasulualu, Falpesulua, Iya.
Whanamo mai ia tia, ia kopoe. Oe foi Israelu, le na o wala o nina. O a ulava ia, o a ulava le mua.
Amen. We also have another reference in Revelation 1, verses 18. So we turn our Bibles to Revelation 1, verses 18. Jesus refers to himself as being the one who lives forevermore. Revelation 1, verses 18. Our English Bible readers. From Ian. Yeah. Revelation 1, sorry. Revelation 1, verses 18. Revelation 1, verse 18. Yeah.
I am he who lives and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And I have the keys of Hades and of death.
Our Samoan Bible readers, Revelations chapter 1, verse 1. Iya.
Ule ola ni lava, saka hoti, fauta foi, hoti ola e fava lava. Amen. Oya se foi ki o seoli marioti.
So keeping in context and reading through passages from verse 1 and 2, the only logical conclusion is that John is referring to the Word as he. And as we've established in verse 1, the Word equals the second person of the Trinity. Was. Here we see the same word used in verse 1, describing the pre-existence before time. In the beginning. As described in verse 1, John uses the same phrase as that of Genesis 1 verses 1, in the beginning, as a description before time of creation. This is also found in Isaiah 43:13. Turn our Bibles, last Bible reference, Isaiah 43, verse 13. Isaiah fast total, total. Now ask up New King James Version Bible readers, Isaiah 43, verse 13. Yeah.
Indeed, before the day was, I am he, and there is no one who can deliver out of my hand. I work, and who will reverse it?
Samoan Bible readers, yeah.
Aole lava ni aso, o au lava o ia. Ele ai foi sena te lava ina na iolima. Au te whaia, au ai sena te whaalea o ngaina.
The last one, with God. The emphasis here is the presence of God. No, sorry. The emphasis here is the presence with God, identifying the second person of the triune God. Two distinct persons. So let us read together what we've unpacked so far. Now, all together. John 1, verses 1 to verse 2. Our English Bible readers? Yeah.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God.
Samoan Bible readers? Yone Mumoa Whaipu Mumoa Lua? Yeah.
Sai le matanga le loko, sai le atua le loko, o le atua foi le loko, o ia lava sai le atua I le amatanga.
So that concludes our verse 2. Nice short one. And I think we'll start to understand more of the eternal word as we continue to unpack the next few verses. I'll close us off in a word of prayer, and I'll hand it over to Tim. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you again for your word. We thank you, Lord, that we're able to come here and unpack your word, Lord. We thank you, Lord, for the sacrifice that you made for coming and dying on the cross for our sin, Lord. And continue to praise and glorify you, Lord. We say this in Jesus' beautiful name. Amen.